everyone, this is Make Money with Tay back with another video. I know I haven't been on here in a long time, but happy new year to everybody. I'm back now and I would like to talk to you guys about a new business venture that I've been pretty much working on all year. Not just working on, but making money from it. So as you can see on my last video, I posted about something called the middleman method. I'm actually going to call it the subcontractor method because essentially that's what it is. But in that video, I showed screenshots of financial proof from Stripe and from Cash App from the payments I received from the customers and clients that I had. Because one thing about me, I always like to show proof. I always like to prove to people that this can work and I'm not just some guru trying to sell some type of dream or fantasy. So I will encourage everyone to take the time out and watch that video if you want to see financial proof of what I'm talking about. But in this video, I'm going to get a little more into the process and explaining a little bit more in depth of what the business model is and how you can work toward starting this business. So this business is called the subcontractor method. Most people, when they hear start a business, they think, okay, I'm going to start X, Y, and Z and I'm going to do it myself. And if I need extra help, I'm going to hire family and friends. And what that usually leads to is burnout, scheduling issues, poor time management, and not being able to handle all the incoming jobs. And then when it is slower, you are not really seeing a profit from it because it is slow and you don't have enough business. You might be willing to do the work yourself or have the time to do it, but you're not getting enough customers. And then at the end of the day, you are only one person. So if you did get more clientele, it would be impossible for you to carry out all of the work. That's why I want to talk to you guys today about the subcontractor method. So that's essentially taking that same business that you wanted to do and hiring other people to do the work for you. The only thing you need to focus on is marketing, job delegation, and professionalism. You could do it from the safety and comfort of your home with just a laptop, Wi-Fi, and a phone. You don't need anything else to run this business, and you could do it from anywhere. So if you do want to travel and move around, you could just take those things with you and you will be able to still make money. For example, DoorDash does not have any vehicles. They only have subcontractors with their own car and gas willing to pick up the food for other people for $5, $10 a run. All DoorDash does is connect the person that wants the food and the person willing to deliver the food to make their money. And that's essentially what this business model is. Now, you can do this with many different types of businesses and niches, but I'm going to only focus on one so that it's easier for you to digest. So the model and the niche that I'm going to talk about is subcontracting residential cleaners. So essentially a remote cleaning business. Any business you start is going to take a little bit of legwork and a little bit of effort. But the thing is, you're not doing any work. So how hard is it to talk on the phone, send emails, talk to subs? If it's all virtual, what hard work are you really doing? I would rather have effort using a computer versus using my body and my time and my gas and my energy. If you like being physical and hands-on, but you're not good at talking on the phone and you're a little bit shy and you're not good at sales, it would be perfect for you to join someone's business with the subcontractor model, because therefore you could just focus on getting consistent jobs while somebody that's better at that than you can handle the back end for you. The reason that I'm explaining this is because there's some people that say, well, why would they do that? Why wouldn't they just, because everybody is not meant to play every role. Just like everybody is not meant to start their own business. Some people do better working under other people, and that's just the reality of life. Now let's get more into this business model. So for this business model, other than your phone, laptop, and Wi-Fi, you will need some type of CRM/booking software, and you will need some type of outlet to tell people about your business. So whether that's making flyers from Vistaprint, posting on Instagram, TikTok, Craigslist, those are good, valuable channels to get your name out there. Now, it is a detailed specific method to all of this, but for the basics, you can start this business for under $300. The most cost you are going to spend is on your LLC. I recommend everybody getting an LLC an insurance, general liability insurance, that is, to make sure they are protected and covered. Because a lot of times when you do use a booking software of any sort, sometimes they will ask for your LLC and your ID information to make sure that you are legit and you are not some scammer just taking payments from people. Everybody, I think, on this channel knows what an LLC is. I don't think I have to explain that. But LLCs are about $50, but in some states they are higher, because I heard in California they are about $300. So you have to look and see what the price of an LLC is in your state, and the rush fee is typically about $50. So in total it's about $100 and something. And then if you want a registered agent or a registered address, they charge you another $30 a month for that. Or you can use your own business address or your home address to put under your LLC, just depending on how you want to go about it. If you do want privacy, I do recommend getting a business address, so that will show up under your LLC instead of having your home address tied to your LLC, unless you don't mind. Now, business insurance is going to be very cheap. It's about $20 to $30 a month, really next to nothing. It's general liability insurance that just protects you in case any damages happen. Umbrella insurance is the insurance that's going to cover like getting sued or any big claims. This stuff is not expensive at all. And also, your subs should have their own insurance. Now, some people with a remote cleaning business make sure that they subs have their own insurance, but it's not mandatory, because you can also add your subcontractors under your insurance. It just depends on how you want to do it, but I do think it is maybe a little harder to find people willing to clean that also have their own insurance. But if that's the process that you want to choose to go under, then that's the process that you choose. And honestly, I would suggest you just maybe hiring them, making sure they do a good job the first couple of jobs before you tell them, hey, you have to have this insurance. Because I feel like you want to make sure that the client can be consistent and on time. The reason I say that is you could miss out on a good client trying to make sure that they have some type of insurance that you could really have them do later. I also want to get into what the difference between a W-2 employee is and a subcontractor is, because everybody doesn't know this. A W-2 is what you have when you have a typical job. Say you get hired at McDonald's, you are a W-2 employee. You have to show up with your uniform on. You don't get to really choose your own schedule. You have to show up when they tell you to show up. Usually you get workers' compensation. I don't know if you get workers' comp from McDonald's. I don't know how fast food work, but a real job, like say for example, not to, diss anybody that works at McDonald's, but say it's like a construction type job, they have to make sure you have workers' compensation. That's insurance for you in case anything goes wrong. When you have subcontractors, you are 1099. You are not obligated to work on the schedule they want you to work on. You do not have to wear a uniform if you do not want to. They do not own you. You are not an employee. And you get to choose your own schedule. You work when you want to work, but you are also not covered by the company's insurance. And if you want coverage, a lot of times you have to get your own insurance. And typically subs are paid higher than W-2, because W-2 works on the clock. So say, you work 8 hours, you get that 17 an hour. Subcontractors usually get paid on a flat rate. They can get paid hourly too, but it's typically more since you're using your own equipment, your own car, your own gas. This was already talked about in my previous video, but I made about $600, $598 to be exact, in 3 days with my remote business. And once again, I showed proof in that video. All I did is literally hire subs, got the job, acquired the job, collected payment, sent the sub on the job, and paid the sub after the job. Now, I want to talk about how you hire the subs, and then I'm going to briefly talk about how you should send payment to the subs. Of course, there's a detailed method of hiring the correct subs, so I'm just going to briefly go over this. You hire subs based on the conversation that you have with them on the phone. Are they the type of person that is a self-starter, wants their own business, wants to do this for a little while, then pivot into something else? Or are they the type of person that is just looking for consistent work, trying to find something that pays the bills, not really too concerned with the ins and outs of the business? So one way you can know these things is by asking them questions like, where do you see yourself in 6 months with this business? Where do you see yourself in 6 months with life, period? Do you want to continue doing this type of business? Are you looking to do something else in the future? How much time do you think you will be able to give this business? Do you feel like you want to do this all day, meaning get as many jobs as you can from this? Or are you just looking for something that's seasonal? Say, for example, it was just Christmas. Are you just trying to hustle up some Christmas money for your kids or, you know, whoever? Or are you really trying to have consistent work for the next year or two at least? Questions like these will tell you where somebody's mind is at before you hire them. Now, some people do lie and they have sense enough to know don't say certain things if you're trying to get a position. But if you let someone keep talking, eventually they will tell on themselves. So I would just say start a natural conversation with the person. Also asking about their previous work history. How many jobs have they had in the last 3 years? What are the reasonings of why those jobs didn't work out? If it's the type of person that's just like always an excuse, like, oh, you know, it was just too far, and oh, you know, that job I didn't like my boss, and oh, this job it was just, that's probably somebody that's inconsistent. They are easily dissatisfied, they move around a lot, they change their mind a lot, etc., etc. That's people that you want to typically stay away from hiring. Now, if they can tell you that I got laid off or I was a subcontractor for someone else, but they stopped getting jobs or it just wasn't as frequent, and I'm looking for somebody that could be consistent with work for me because I want to keep working, that's somebody that's more of a better fit. Also, experience. You always want somebody with at least 2 to 3 years experience. Yes, you can hire newcomers, but usually when you hire new people, you need to train them or somebody else needs to train them. And if this is a middleman subcontractor model with no employees, you don't have time for that. So you need to have people that have already been doing what you're starting to do. Actually, they need to know more about it than you, because obviously if you're just starting it, you really don't know much at all. Anybody that you hire should know more about the job than you do. Since I've talked a little bit about some ways that you can vet good subs, I want to talk about how you can pay these subs. So I said before, I accepted payments through a booking link and Cash App. Now I pay my subs per day, but that's not a substantial pay schedule for everyone, because obviously if you pay per day, you need the cash flow. And a lot of times if you're not paying by Cash App and the client is paying by booking link, it takes 2 to 3 days for the funds to settle. And if you don't have that money to pay the worker that day, then they're not getting paid that day. They're going to have to wait those 2 to 3 days till those funds settle. So the wise thing for you to do is tell them they have to get paid weekly. That's pretty much the gist of it. And I have something cheap that I can send you guys that'll show you what are the best booking softwares to use, strategies on marketing, where you can find good subcontractors at, like what platforms, and ways you can start making money this same week so that you can get up and running start to your business. Also, the AI software I use to build my website for me so that I don't have to worry about the tedious effort it takes to build a website or paying someone $500 plus to build a website for me. And if you want that guide and you want to start this business today and start making money this week, comment remote in the comments and I'll send it over to you. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next video.